We've just released the results of our Industry X.0 strategy research, where we are looking to understand where companies are on their Industry X.0 journey, and have they had any successes or challenges along that journey. To do that, we interviewed 400 companies in 11 industries across the globe. What we are looking for is to understand in their responses, how much adoption do they have of Industry X.0 principles, how mature are they, and over that same 3-year period, we are looking at what has been the financial performance of their company over those 3 years. As we looked at those correlations, we found 4 segments emerged. The first one was the traditionalists. These are 55% of the companies in the survey, and they're basically the status quo. They've not invested in Industry X.0 at a great deal, and their financial performance has been stagnant or declining over the last 3 years. The next group were the efficient executors. They've got fairly good adoption of Industry X.0, but they've not been able to convert that into new financial performance for the company. An interesting group are the early leaders. They have taken a very targeted approach to Industry X.0. Very focused, targeted adoption of certain principles, and they've gotten great financial results out of it. Our last group, and the most interesting one that we want to spend some time on, are what we call the value makers. That was 17% of our population. They've got a very mature adoption of Industry X.0 principles, and more importantly, they are 6 times as likely to have increased their revenue by 30% or more over traditionalists, and they're 7 times as likely to have done the same thing on profitability. Significant amount of difference. So that begs the next question of what are value makers doing? What's in their strategic agenda that other companies could potentially adopt? We found 4 common principles amongst these value makers that they've all adopted that we thought was really important in the research. The first one is that they are farther along in creating smart, connected products that they've released out to the marketplace. 36% of our value makers have actually released smart and connected products into the marketplace versus only 7% of our traditionalists. Now 36% still isn't a whole lot, but it's a much larger amount than what the traditionalists have done. The second big thing that we found is that the value makers are 3 times more likely to have actually adopted and implemented a continuous loop product lifecycle within their operating model. They've really broken down the barriers between innovation, engineering, manufacturing, and service, and connected them to become far more streamlined. The third big theme that we found is that they've really leveraged digital to reinvent their operating model, even just within those functions. So leveraging classical operational improvement capabilities in manufacturing, overlaid with new digital capabilities as well. And bringing those 2 together has brought great differences in the way they can run their business. The final theme that we found was that they have the opportunity to create new revenue models in their business. Because value makers have adopted smart connected products at a much more aggressive rate, they're able to create a product as a service revenue model in the marketplace that traditionalists have not been able to. And again, they're 3 times more likely to be collecting revenue on a product as a service model than our traditionalists in the survey. So in conclusion, we know that not every company is at the same starting point for Industry X.0, and they will have different journeys. What we do know and have concluded is that value makers have been very good at creating their strategy for Industry X.0 and then executing very efficiently against it.